Hello, Magneto. So, I'm gonna make a pitch to try and avoid impending doom, since you've at least offered the opportunity for us to do that. So, you wanted to know, are you right or wrong to kill humanity? I'm gonna say it's wrong, in my opinion. Now, one could say, look what human beings have done to animals, enslaved them, put them into captivity for their own ends. Why shouldn't you do to humans what they do to lesser species that aren't able to defend themselves or fight back? And that's a pretty valid argument to make, but what I'd say is two wrongs don't make a right. And I say this to fellow human being meat eaters who say, look what animals do to each other in the wild, so if they're not going to extend their fellow animals the same courtesy of not eating one another or killing one another, I'm not going to do it to them. And I say the same thing to them. I say, no, it's still wrong to make sentient creatures suffer for our own gains. So I'm going to say it's wrong, but ultimately, me saying it's wrong to you, I can't stop you unless I persuade you with this message, so if you disagree that it's wrong, not much I can do about it. You want to know where rights come from in an evolutionary worldview. Well, they don't come from evolution. Rights don't come from observed natural phenomenon. We look at evolution, we accept it as a theory that explains the diversity of life and the nature of reproduction. We don't look at it and say, oh, that's wonderful, let's emulate it because it's so moral and it's the right thing to do because it happens in nature. That would be like saying, where do human rights come from in a gravitational worldview? The laws of gravity would permit me to push someone off a roof and watch them plummet to their death for my own amusement. Well, why don't I just do it? Rights don't come from how nature operates, and in fact it's what you're doing is actually a judgment. You're saying it's right for the strong to survive, to eliminate the weak for the strong to survive. First of all, there's so many things wrong with this, I don't know where to start. So we kind of have a demarcation. Okay, you could include human, or you're not human, you're mutant, but we have a way of sort of disassociating human activity from nature at times, and eugenics would fall into that category. When there's a conscious decision making a judgment on who to eliminate, it no longer falls into the realm of nature, thus natural selection. It's actually eugenics. What was the other point actually? It was... oh yeah, evolution doesn't say the strong survive. Evolution says those that are best suited to their environment survive. So, you know, being strong would help you in many cases, but if, say, food became scarce, well then the smaller creatures which require less food would be more likely to survive than the strong ones which require a greater food intake. So, you know, I disagree with using evolution as a moral compass. On top of doing that, you haven't even got what evolution is. So, triple fail on that point. Your third question was, where do human rights come from? It was... what rights do humans have and where do they come from? Well, inherently, we don't have any rights. That doesn't mean to say that I don't think we should have rights. Just saying, inherently, they're not there. It's up to us socially to construct them, and indeed that's where rights seem to come from. They come from the powers that be making the decisions what rights humans have. This country and your country, human rights is pretty strong. China, not so much. They don't have such rights. You might just vanish off the streets and end up dead there. So, you know, if you're trying to say that human rights come from God, well, he's doing a pretty shit, if not non-job, of enforcing those human rights. So, I can only plead with you, Magneto, to not kill me, and my fellow human beings in the human race. I can't give you an objective reason not to. I have to ask you to look into your heart. I couldn't bear to kill another person. I can't bear to kill an animal. I can't bear to eat meat and support an industry that does kill animals. It's just something humans have. I'm asking you to show compassion. It's what humans do, and you're not a human, but our DNA ought to be very similar. You can certainly speak the language. I would expect you to have a lot in common with us, and human beings have natural temperaments towards empathy. You didn't bat an eyelid of remorse when you nailed down all those guards. Maybe you're a psychopath. Maybe the empathy, maybe you have the capacity for empathy, but you haven't been nurtured enough and you're not feeling it. But it's quite natural for humans to have a revulsion, to feel terrible about killing someone, and thus to, as a consequence of that, not kill people. So I can only ask you to look into your conscience. I can only look you in the eye and ask you, please don't kill me. And if that fails, well, I don't expect a God's going to come and save me. So might's going to win out. So yeah, it's pretty much it.